Okay, this is going to be a quick and short deathmatch guide, just to explain how to approach a deathmatch game correctly. So potentially there's going to be more people playing deathmatch in the future. If no one is afraid of just being too slow or too newbie. Don't get well, flashed or whatever by the way I play it. You can be much slower at what you do. Your aim doesn't always have to be the very best, and the speed I use is not really obligatory for most things. So let's imagine you enter the game, and I selected Germany because it's probably a really easy and very strong civ to use for beginners. So when you load it into the game, there is a couple of things you want to do. The first thing is you want to use like 66% of your vills immediately to build a church and the others to build a house. So in this case, use 2 settler wagons to build a church, and it's advantageous to have a hotkey for your church. For me it's C, as you can see, and also hotkey for your house. So that's the first thing you do. So you do this, boom. I'm gonna repause. Immediately after, which isn't really difficult, I just say it like that, you will either select your TC and press the build buttons, or first your Explorer and either build TCs or native. On a map like Andes or Great Plains, I recommend building the native first because they have essential upgrades for your units, which is train speed and walking speed, or train speed on Great Plains for Cav. When your teammates take the natives first, or it's just a different map, just stick to the TC. Very close as well, you just want them to go up as quickly as possible to mass vills. So let's quickly do that, yeah. Could also have gone for the native. Okay, so this vill you will task to, okay, shift click didn't work, but you know, usually without the pauses. Okay, so one vill, the one that finishes the houses or the settler wagon, you stick on more houses. You will just spam all the houses that you have while the church is being built. The 2 villas that build the church, you will send to build your first stable and get mercantilism. Meanwhile, while the tag is loading, you want to select the deathmatch deck. What is a good deathmatch deck? Why is this a good deathmatch deck? So mostly you want eco and military upgrades, which is similar to treaty, but you want a couple of artillery shipments in H4 to make your push easier. So basically those units that have a long train time. And you see those 6 settler wagons. A lot of deathmatch players use faster building in H1, which I think is a huge mistake with Germany, because what's going to be faster? 3 settler wagons building with 65% more speed, or 9 settler wagons? Yeah, okay, it's obvious it's the 9, okay? So this is your first shipment. Second shipment is always going to be fast cav, because you want to get out units as soon as possible, and cav trains faster than infantry. And afterwards, usually like a cavalry combat card or some kind of cav. That kind of depends on what civ you play against, whether you send all the cards or you mix in the infantry training, artillery shipments, cannons, factories. It's just kind of up to you. That doesn't really have to be the same in every game. What should be the same in every game is pretty much just, yeah, that you go build these stables, you add more, so now you get the shipments, 1. So yeah, once he builds the houses, by the way, you should just spam all the houses. Yeah, I'm not doing it flashy. By now you could do Minuteman, because usually by now the units of your opponent arrive, and then you just add more military buildings. Use your settler wagons to build, etc, etc. Send more shipments. So what's important here is, and that's my personal opinion, but I'm pretty sure that's the absolutely best approach to deathmatch. After your stables, you have different options, right? I recommend 3 stables. 2 or 3 stables is usually enough to produce your units quick enough in the number you want. Go for foundries, not raxes immediately. Don't rush towers somewhere, don't wall immediately. Walling can sometimes be super needed, but in most cases, stop, build the foundry first. Hurry the fuck up on queuing your first artillery pieces. If you're the first one with a batch of 5 Horsad on the map, it's a game changer. And since you have your second foundry up shortly after, the corps as well. There is nothing anyone can do when you have 5 horse artillery and a ton of goons besides making artillery on their own. They're immediately in the need to be defensive. Obviously, you will wall up at some points. You don't want to get raided and stuff. So once you have all your needed buildings, so let's say all these buildings are done, then sure you can wall or tower depending on your opponent's setting and map. And also once, let's say infantry training is in, maybe the cav cards are in, then you can also send factories, put them in the back, and start putting mills and plantations down everywhere. That's not the issue. And that's pretty much personal preference in what order you do that too. I just have my personal one. What's important is what I already said. You start with the church, mercantilism, deck, houses. Remember the 66-33 will percentage. 66 to church, 33 to houses. And then first buildings is stables, then foundry or foundries, and then raxes. That's priority. And then you just make units. Spam to 200 pop. Go up as high as you can. In almost every case. In team games, sometimes it might be smarter to choose an eco approach, stay defensive depending on your civ as well. But with Germany, no fear, go in, berserk them. Keep it easy until you understand the basics for yourself, and then you can extend. Yeah, that should be it for now.